A sealed pyramid opened after 4,000 years. The secret inside forces world history to be rewritten. Have you ever imagined that one of humanity's greatest wonders, the Great Pyramid of Giza, holds a secret that could rewrite all of history? Today, we will explore a groundbreaking archaeological discovery, as scientists have for the first time unlocked mysterious chambers inside the pyramid, and the ancient inscriptions found there not only reveal who truly built this marvel, but also shatter long-held beliefs about ancient Egyptian history. First, let's go back about 4,500 years, when Pharaoh Khufu commissioned the construction of the Great Pyramid, a masterpiece considered the pinnacle of ancient architecture and engineering. For a long time, we believed the pyramid was built by the forced labor of hundreds of thousands of slaves. But now, thanks to new discoveries by Dr. Zahi Hawass, the renowned Egyptologist, and his archaeological team, this historical picture has completely changed. The inscriptions carved on stones inside narrow chambers deep within the pyramid reveal that the builders were not slaves, but skilled workers who were paid and worked under a highly organized and disciplined system. Can you imagine that these workers, the silent creators of this wonder, were buried right near the pyramid in honorable tombs, something slaves were never allowed to have? Dr. Hawass once shared, "If they were slaves, how could they have prepared tombs for themselves like kings and nobles?" This revelation completely undermines the old hypothesis that the pyramid was built through forced labor. And you know what? The chambers where archaeologists found these inscriptions and ancient graffiti are located in extremely hard-to-reach areas. To get there, they had to climb nearly 50 feet and crawl through narrow, dangerous spaces. This also makes it almost impossible for anyone today to forge these inscriptions. The graffiti are not only depictions of the workers' daily life and tasks, but also reveal the titles and roles of individuals such as overseer at the pyramid's edge and craftsman. Even more fascinating, the research team discovered detailed evidence of how the pyramid was built. The limestone blocks were quarried from a site just about 1,000 feet away, then transported using a system of ramps made from crushed stone and mud. The remnants of this ramp were found southwest of the pyramid, revealing a smart and efficient construction technique that disproves the theory that thousands of heavy stones were manually hauled without tools or equipment. But that's not all. East of the pyramid, an excavation led by Mark Lehner uncovered a workers' city, where the laborers lived, worked, and rested. Previously, it was thought the workers only ate simple foods like garlic, onions, and bread. However, analysis of thousands of animal bone samples found there shows they had a full diet, with more than 11 cattle and 33 goats slaughtered daily to feed approximately 10,000 people. This indicates the workers were much better cared for than previously imagined. However, don't think the story of the Great Pyramid ends here. Dr. Hawass is preparing a special new expedition, the first to use advanced robots to explore secret areas inside the pyramid that have never been visited before. This promises to be a major breakthrough, unveiling secrets about this massive monument never known until now. From legend to truth, from slave myths to evidence of great craftsmen, these new discoveries are rewriting the entire history of how the Great Pyramid of Giza was built. And perhaps it has taken 4,000 years for us to finally have the technology and the care to truly hear the voice of the past, etched on every stone of humanity's immortal wonder. What do you think about this discovery? Is it curious enough and enough to make you reconsider the history of that mysterious pyramid? If that still isn't enough to satisfy your curiosity, then right here in this video, let's continue our journey deeper underground, crossing thousands of years, to reveal the great and impressive archaeological discoveries experts have made in recent years. And without further delay, let's start with the very first discovery now. Secret World War II shelter discovered right beneath a backyard. Some archaeological discoveries don't require deserts, pyramids, or large-scale excavations. Sometimes, history is just quietly sleeping right beneath our feet, hidden within the most ordinary moments of everyday life. Recently, in the peaceful town of Southwick, England, a family accidentally touched history when they uncovered a World War II shelter hidden beneath their backyard, 3 years after moving into the home. This story, which sounds like it stepped straight out of a movie, shocked not only the family but the entire local community, as a wartime refuge, once a place of life and death, was found in a modern setting where the past seemed long buried. Catherine Milburn, 32, along with her husband Liam and their 2 young children, have lived in the house since 2021. For 3 years, They had no idea that an ancient military structure lay just beneath the ground where their kids played, where they planted flowers and enjoyed afternoon tea. There was no sign on the surface hinting at an underground bunker, until they decided to renovate a small garden shed. The story began when the couple found an unusual 10-foot-long concrete slab beneath the shed's floor. When they dug it up, steel bars emerged from under the soil. Though initially puzzled, curiosity and a sense that something wasn't right pushed them to keep digging. Catherine told Jam Press, "We started seeing curved steel sheets, corrugated metal, that didn't look like any normal foundation. At that moment, we just blurted out, 'Oh my God, what have we just found?' The deeper they dug, the clearer the details became. A metal staircase led down to a lower space, accompanied by a narrow tunnel now flooded with water. Although they couldn't explore inside further due to moisture and water accumulation, the structure alone led them to a surprising conclusion. This was an Anderson shelter, a typical civilian air raid shelter built in England in the late 1930s to protect families during Nazi Germany's intense bombing raids. Anderson shelters were usually buried about 3 feet underground and made from corrugated steel sheets bolted tightly to withstand bombs. Each shelter could safely house up to 6 people, a standard wartime family. These shelters were where British citizens spent nights during air raid alarms, where children learned to stay silent amid the sound of bombs, and they became symbols of resilience and hope during the darkest period of the 20th century. For the Milburn family, this discovery was more than just a curiosity. It was a vivid slice of history right in their own backyard. Catherine shared that she and her husband are excited about preserving and restoring the shelter. They plan to pump out the water, clean it up, and bring light inside, even possibly turning it into a small memorial space dedicated to wartime memories for educational purposes. Fortunately, the find quickly caught the attention of their children's school, which expressed interest in organizing educational visits to the shelter, creating a home museum where students can deeply understand what their grandparents and parents went through during the war. There may be nothing more vivid and moving than stepping into a real shelter once used to survive bombings, touching the steel that once vibrated under air raids. From a chance discovery, this family has connected with an invaluable heritage, a real piece of the larger story of British wartime life. What's truly remarkable is that this shelter isn't housed in a museum or a history book, but right beneath the soil they walk on every day. This is the special beauty of archaeology, its power to bring the past alive in the present, reminding us that history is not just something behind us, but something that still exists, waiting to be uncovered in the most unexpected places. The secret formula of genius. Leonardo da Vinci in the famous Mona Lisa painting. In the world of art, perhaps no painting has been mentioned more often than the Mona Lisa, Leonardo da Vinci's most famous masterpiece, with its mysterious smile that has captivated millions for over 500 years. But just recently, in October 2023, a groundbreaking scientific discovery unexpectedly opened a new door, bringing us closer to the secret painting techniques of this Renaissance genius. A team of scientists from France and England published their research results in the Journal of the American Chemical Society, revealing that Leonardo was not only a gifted painter, but also a master chemist who pioneered using his own special formula to create the Mona Lisa's underpainting, something that had never been clearly confirmed before in art history. Leading the research was Victor Gonzalez, a chemist at France's National Center for Scientific Research, CNRS. He shared that Leonardo was always immersed in relentless experiments, and what's special is that each of his works carries a unique technical signature. This shows he was not only a brush wielder, but also a true inventor in the field of painting materials. For the Mona Lisa, Gonzalez and his team focused on studying a tiny fragment of the painting's original underlayer, a paint trace so small it's almost invisible, about the diameter of a human hair, approximately 0.002 inches, taken from the upper right edge of the artwork. Using one of today's most advanced technologies, a synchrotron accelerator, the researchers analyzed this paint at the atomic level. There, they discovered an extremely rare compound in classical paintings called plumbonacrite, a byproduct of lead oxide pigment. This is the first chemical proof confirming that Leonardo mixed orange lead oxide into linseed or walnut oil by heating it to create a thick, warm yellow paint mixture with ideal consistency that dries faster than usual. Exactly what's needed for a stable, long-lasting underpainting. Victor Gonzalez described the paint mixture as flowing honey, not only beautiful in hue, but also very stable for use. He emphasized, "Plumbonacrite is truly the distinctive signature of Leonardo's formula. This is the first time we can clearly confirm it through chemical analysis." As proof of the formula's durability, Plumbonacrite was also found in the works of 17th-century Dutch master Rembrandt, showing that this technique was passed down, preserved, and further developed by generations of painters. This discovery not only provides new insight into the Mona Lisa's technique, but also opens a whole new field of study on Leonardo da Vinci. The famous painting, with its quiet gaze and enigmatic smile, has long sparked endless debate among critics, historians, and artists. Now, alongside the mystery and the subject's expression, people are amazed to learn that the very underlayer, where every brushstroke begins, holds its own secret, a complex chemical formula, surely the product of pioneering scientific thinking. Leonardo can be considered the ultimate Renaissance man. From painting, architecture, anatomy to astronomy, he was centuries ahead of his time. With this discovery, we gain another perspective on how he created timeless masterpieces, not just with skillful hands, but with deep knowledge of materials and natural laws. Gonzalez admitted, "We have only scratched the surface of what Leonardo left behind. What we found is just a small brick in a treasure trove of knowledge still hidden." 3. 4,000-year-old tombs reveal mysteries of ancient Egypt's power transition. On the west bank of the Nile River, opposite the beautiful city of Aswan in southern Egypt, a recently announced archaeological discovery has astonished and excited historians and researchers alike. During the latest excavation season at the ancient cemetery of Kubbat al-Hawa, long known as the resting place for nobles and high-ranking officials of ancient Egypt, archaeologists uncovered 3 stone tombs dating back some 4,000 years, belonging to the Old Kingdom period, approximately 2686 to 2181 BC. If you thought that the mysteries of ancient Egypt had been mostly uncovered, this latest finding will make you think again. While they may seem like just 3 ancient tombs, do you know what makes them truly special? These are not merely burial sites, but important clues that help decode one of the least understood and most complex periods in ancient Egyptian history, the turbulent transitional era between the collapse of the Old Kingdom and the rise of the First Intermediate Period. Let's start with the first tomb, a mysterious structure bearing no inscriptions but filled with intriguing remnants. Archaeologists discovered an open courtyard, 2 false doors, a typical element in Egyptian funerary art, along with an offering table, pottery vessels, and a wooden coffin in surprisingly poor condition. More strikingly, the remaining human bones in the tomb revealed traces of ancient funerary rituals, likely reflecting religious beliefs in the afterlife at that time. A nearby burial pit contained cracked coffins and pottery artifacts, some bearing early writing marks, believed to be among the earliest examples of Egyptian script from this era. Moving on to the second tomb, located west of the first, the historical picture expands further. Although it also lacked inscriptions, archaeologists found 2 offering tables and many ceramic items characteristic of the Middle Kingdom period, suggesting that this site may have been in use during the power transition when successive dynasties were reshaping Egypt after a glorious but chaotic era. Then, there is the third tomb, the most remarkable of the 3. Its unusual layout surprised experts. Inside, a large collection of nearly intact pottery was found alongside skeletal remains of individuals of various ages, from adults and children to infants. This has sparked several hypotheses. Could it be the burial place of a noble family? Or perhaps a mass burial site during a period of political crisis or natural disaster? All questions remain a great mystery. What is certain is that the tomb dates back to the Old Kingdom, and its secrets await discovery. As we piece together these fragments of history, Muhammad Ismail Khaled, Secretary General of Egypt's Supreme Council of Antiquities and head of the excavation, emphasized that this discovery marks a major breakthrough. According to him, these 3 tombs are not only valuable archaeological evidence, but also an important scientific contribution that sheds light on the transitional phase between the end of the Old Kingdom and the beginning of the First Intermediate Period, a period still largely unknown. Have you ever wondered what truly happened when the Old Kingdom, considered the foundation of Egyptian civilization, gradually declined? Was it climate change, internal conflict, or religious crisis that pushed the nation into chaos? These tombs may not answer all those questions, but they offer a rare opportunity to look deeper into the past and understand how ancient Egyptians lived, died, and believed in life after death. A 125,000-year-old fat processing site reveals the advanced intelligence of Neanderthals. To make the story easier to imagine, picture yourself traveling back over 125,000 years, stepping into a dense forest in Central Europe where smoke rises from a strange gathering spot in the wild nature. It's not a kitchen as we know it today, but neither is it simply a hunting ground or shelter. This is what archaeologists call a fat factory, an organized and strategic food processing center so sophisticated that it astonishes modern archaeology. This discovery, made at the Neumarkt Nord 2 site in central Germany, not only changes our understanding of Neanderthals, but could also rewrite the history of human culinary evolution and intelligence. For a long time, Neanderthals, the European inhabitants before Homo sapiens, were considered primitive, living by instinct and hunting alone. But an international team of archaeologists from the Mon Repos Archaeological Research Center, Germany, Leiden University, Netherlands, the University of Reading, UK, and the Saxony-Anhalt State Office for Archaeology has proven otherwise. Based on excavation data from 2004 to 2009, they found that Neanderthals at Neumarkt Nord were more than just hunters. They were true resource managers, skillfully utilizing animal bodies to extract and store fat, a precious source of nutrition that helped them survive harsh winters. So, what makes this fat factory so groundbreaking? Here, Neanderthals crushed animal bones, not just to extract marrow as seen in other ancient cultures, but also boiled them in water to separate fat into a nutrient-rich liquid that could be stored and used over time. This process required knowledge of temperature control, cooking materials, water amounts, and setting up a suitable space for preparation. This indicates that they went far beyond the hunt-and-eat mindset to long-term planning for the survival needs of the group. Dr. Lutz Kindler, lead author of the study published in Science Advances, emphasized, "This research proves that Neanderthals didn't hunt randomly but had strategic thinking. They selectively chose prey, transported carcasses to appropriate locations, and designated areas for specific tasks, from light butchering, processing large animal remains, to fat extraction in separate zones." This is the first scientific evidence of an organized bone fat production process from such an ancient period, pushing back the origins of this technique by tens of thousands of years compared to what was previously attributed to late Paleolithic Homo sapiens. Notably, Professor Will Robrooks from Leiden University added, "What makes Neumarkt Nord exceptional is the complete preservation of the archaeological landscape, not just scattered artifacts, but a fully functional Neanderthal living system during an interglacial period. They divided their living space functionally, similar to how modern humans separate kitchens, bedrooms, and living rooms. One area was used for hunting deer and preliminary processing, another for dissecting mammoth carcasses, and a specialized third for bone fat production. Clear evidence of labor division and social organization. But it doesn't stop there. Excavations also uncovered traces of at least 170 large mammal individuals, from deer and horses to aurochs, processed at this site. Cut marks, shattered bone fragments, and crude pottery found at processing points indicate large-scale production sustained over many years. Researchers even hypothesized that Neanderthal activity here impacted the regional ecosystem, for example, reducing populations of slow-reproducing species through overhunting. Because of this, the discovery forces anthropologists to reconsider the classic view of Neanderthals as cave-dwelling, simple creatures lacking abstract thinking. Instead, Neanderthals at Neumarkt Nord emerge as skilled craftsmen with biological knowledge of animals, advanced food processing techniques, and environmental management. They understood the value of fat, not just as an immediate energy source, but as a strategic asset to survive food shortages. The story of this 125,000-year-old fat factory opens a new door in evolutionary research. Could intelligence and creativity have started before Homo sapiens? Might Neanderthals, our extinct evolutionary cousins, have been ahead of us in some ways? And that leads to a bigger question. How many human civilization breakthroughs might have begun long ago, far away, in the hands of ancestors we mistakenly labeled as wild? You see, the deeper we dig into history, the more we realize that what's buried is not just bones and dust, but precious clues that redraw the journey of evolution, knowledge, and the true nature of humanity. 2,000-year-old shipwreck off the coast of Turkey reveals shocking secrets. Beneath the crystal-clear waters of Adrasan Bay in southern Turkey, an underwater archaeological discovery has stunned the world. A shipwreck estimated to be around 2,000 years old lies undisturbed at a depth of about 120 to 148 feet, like a time capsule from an ancient civilization. But what truly astonished scientists wasn't just the age of the ship, it was the remarkably well-preserved state of hundreds of ceramic artifacts. Bowls, plates, trays, and pots adorned with intricate patterns have retained their vibrant colors even after 2 millennia underwater. Can you imagine that? An ancient treasure, untouched by looters, lying there as if it had been loaded onto the ship just yesterday. The ship is believed to date back to the late Hellenistic to early Roman period, roughly from the 1st century BCE to the 1st century CE, an era when maritime trade among Mediterranean port cities was at its peak. The artifacts discovered are not merely remnants of a shipwreck, but compelling evidence of a vast ancient trade network spanning the eastern Mediterranean. Turkey's Minister of Culture and Tourism, Mehmet Nuri Ersoy, personally dove to the seafloor to witness the wreck firsthand. He called it a world-unique discovery, a statement that, for once, is not an exaggeration. Finding an ancient ship with its cargo still intact after thousands of years is incredibly rare and could reshape our understanding of ancient transportation and storage technologies. So, what allowed these ceramic items to defy time in such a spectacular way? The answer lies in a layer of coarse clay that ancient traders applied before transport. This clay coating acted as a natural biological glue, sealing each item and protecting them from saltwater corrosion and microbial decay. This is the first time scientists have observed this technique being used on such a large scale, likely the very reason the entire cargo appears frozen in time. If you thought smart packaging solutions were a modern invention, think again. The ancients were clearly ahead of their time. Archaeologists also believe the ship was transporting consumer goods, possibly to supply major port cities or trading stations along the Mediterranean coast. The neatly arranged artifacts, found in perfect order and undisturbed, suggest that the ship sank suddenly, perhaps due to a storm or an underwater collision, rather than from looting or gradual decay. This adds immense archaeological value, as it allows researchers to precisely observe how ancient people packed, transported, and stored goods, an area we still know relatively little about. This find is just one piece of a broader puzzle. Over 400 shipwrecks have been identified between the ancient city of Patara and Mersin, an astonishing number that indicates this stretch of sea was once a bustling maritime highway in the ancient world. Imagine fleets of sailboats, laden with wine, olive oil, grain, textiles, and ceramics, braving the open seas to connect cultures from east to west. Thanks to the ocean's miraculous preservation, we are now slowly uncovering these colorful fragments of a long-forgotten story. Remarkably, around the same time, other astonishing archaeological discoveries are being made across the globe. In Lima, Peru, a group of construction workers laying a pipeline accidentally uncovered a pre-Incan tomb containing the remarkably well-preserved remains of a child aged between 10 and 15 years. Even after more than 1,000 years, the child's hair still retained its dark brown color. This suggests that even on opposite sides of the world, ancient mysteries continue to emerge, challenging our assumptions about long-lost civilizations. These findings could potentially open new pathways in modern medicine, especially in the fight against cancer. From the 2,000-year-old shipwreck in Turkey to the pre-Incan tomb in Peru and the scientific explanation for the Pharaoh's curse in Egypt, all of these discoveries are pointing to one undeniable truth. History is not finished. It continues to unfold, layer by layer, dive by dive, accidental dig by accidental dig. And with every discovery, a new door opens, bringing us one step closer to ancient mysteries. Mysteries that never truly disappeared, but have simply been waiting to be told. Gin bottle and the oldest message in a bottle ever found. A peaceful afternoon on a remote beach near Wedge Island, Western Australia, suddenly turned into a moment of destiny when Tanya Illman, an ordinary woman, unwittingly stepped into a new chapter of global archaeological history. She had only been out for a walk when, among the white sands and salty ocean breeze, an old glass bottle, weathered by time, caught her attention. What looked like just another piece of beach litter had distinctive embossed lettering on its surface. She thought it would make a nice decorative piece for her bookshelf. But what was inside would astonish the entire world. Inside the weathered bottle was a small scroll of paper, printed in German, clearly dated June 12, 1886. It was a message written 132 years ago, which had traveled across oceans, storms, and time, only to be found by someone completely unconnected to maritime history. But the note was not a cry for help or a message of loneliness. It was part of a little-known scientific experiment, a message in a bottle current tracking project. Yes, you read that right. From 1864 to 1933, German ships took part in a 69-year project in which thousands of glass bottles, each containing a message, were thrown into the sea all over the world. Every scroll recorded the name of the ship, the coordinates where the bottle was released, the date, and a request. If found, the finder was to record the time and place of discovery and return the message to the German Naval Observatory to assist with ocean current research. The bottle Tanya discovered had been thrown overboard from the sailing ship Paula, part of the German merchant fleet, as it passed through the Indian Ocean, roughly 590 miles off the coast of Western Australia. But the wonder didn't end there. Ross Anderson, a maritime archaeologist at the Western Australian Museum, took possession of the artifact and compared the handwriting on the scroll to the ship's logbook. Incredibly, the captain's log from Paula recorded, on June 12, 1886, that a bottle had been tossed overboard, the very same bottle that was found over a century later. Chills, right? A delicate, trembling, handwritten message on a now yellowed piece of paper, still legible and intact after more than 100 years drifting at sea. No modern technology was involved, just paper, ink, and hope. What made the discovery even more remarkable was the confirmation by experts at the German Naval Observatory. They verified the content and authenticity of the note, officially recognizing it as the oldest message in a bottle ever found, breaking the previous world record of 108 years. Kim Illman, Tanya's husband, shared that after bringing the bottle home, he carefully dried the scroll in the oven for 5 minutes to preserve it. A risky move that turned out to be extremely lucky. With a basic understanding of German, he quickly realized this wasn't a personal letter, but part of a scientific study. The message asked the finder to record the coordinates and discovery date and return the note to Germany for research purposes. According to records, out of the thousands of bottles released during the project, 662 messages were found and returned, with the last one discovered in 1934. And then, as if fate had intervened, 2018 marked the resurrection of a message long thought buried forever by the sea. A piece of the past resurfaced in the present, reminding us that no matter how many years pass, history's mysteries can still emerge in the most unexpected places. Have you ever wondered if, while walking along a quiet beach, you might stumble upon a moment in history? Who knows? Beneath the white sand or among the scattered seashells, there might still be bottles carrying ancient messages, not just relics of memory, but vital links in the story of human discovery. So go ahead, bend down, pick up that weathered object. You might just be holding the key to unlocking time itself. 33. Skulls in a shallow grave in Mexico, uncovering a bloody drug cartel war. The story began on January 17th, when a Mexican government official confirmed to the media that 33 skulls had been found in a single concentrated area. The terrifying part? That number might only be the beginning. The initial investigation had started on January 13th, prompted by reports of disturbed earth and tips from local residents. As investigators peeled back layers of soil, the truth began to emerge like a silent nightmare. The victims' identities remain unknown, and the motive behind this mass burial is still a mystery. However, given the social and criminal context of Nayarit, many experts believe the case is very likely linked to violence between organized crime groups, especially the Jalisco New Generation Cartel, CJNG, a name that has instilled fear across western Mexico. CJNG is one of the most powerful and ruthless drug cartels today, locked in a bloody turf war with the Sinaloa cartel, once led by infamous drug lord Joaquin El Chapo Guzman. These brutal clashes between cartels pushed Mexico's 2017 homicide rate to over 20,000 killings. a record-breaking number that raised alarms that the country was sliding into a full-scale covert war. Nayarit, strategically located along the Pacific coast, has become a key transit point for international drug trafficking routes, and thus, a bloody battleground. The depth of cartel influence became even more evident when the state's attorney general was arrested in San Diego on drug trafficking charges, highlighting how deeply organized crime has penetrated the ranks of public authority. In this context, discovering a mass grave is sadly no longer surprising, but what it reveals is the true scale and horrifying brutality of a war being fought in the shadows. Can you imagine? 33 skulls, no bodies, no names, no justice. Each skull represents an untold story, a person who once lived, perhaps a father, a mother, a child. And now, nothing remains but silent evidence buried beneath the earth. How were they killed? Why were they buried here? Were they targets of cartel purges, or just innocent victims caught in the crossfire of power struggles? No answers yet exist. Even then, President Enrique Peña Nieto admitted that violence and crime had spiraled out of control, despite deploying military and police forces extensively. The harsh reality is that no matter the effort, cartels often operate like shadow governments, controlling territories, finances, and in some cases, even law enforcement. That's why massacres like this can happen and remain hidden for long stretches, until by chance, a police officer or archaeologist's shovel strikes the earth and reveals the horror beneath. The story of the 33 skulls isn't just another gruesome case, it's a sobering reminder that modern warfare doesn't always come with guns and tanks. Sometimes it's silent purges, where people are buried without even a death notice. And sometimes it's the archaeologists, not the police or judges, who become the first to shine light on forgotten victims. So next time you watch footage of such an excavation site, don't just see the cold white bones. Try to imagine the people behind them, and ask yourself, could we have prevented this tragedy if history hadn't been buried with them? The pathway to the Mayan gate of the underworld. Deep within the dense tropical jungles of the Yucatan Peninsula, beneath the majestic ruins of El Castillo Pyramid at Chichen Itza, one of the most iconic structures of the ancient Mayan civilization, Mexican archaeologists are conducting a startling excavation, a hidden underground tunnel, believed to be an entrance to the sacred underworld of the Maya. This discovery may unveil previously unknown dimensions of their spiritual beliefs and ritual practices, shedding light on a civilization that once dominated Central America thousands of years ago. This excavation is not just a journey through layers of stone and soil, it's a spiritual voyage. For the Maya, this was where life began, where death was transformed, and where the gods resided. For centuries, the Maya have been known for their intricate temples, pyramids, and mysterious religious rituals. But few could have imagined that beneath these massive structures lies a vast network of ancient caves and underground tunnels, once used for their most sacred ceremonies. According to archaeologist Guillermo de Anda, the lead researcher on the project, the tunnel had been intentionally sealed by the ancient Maya, almost as if they wanted to keep a powerful secret hidden, accessible only to those chosen to enter. And now, after centuries, that path has been reopened, not for rituals, but for discovery. 2 years ago, Mexican archaeologists discovered signs of an underground cavern beneath El Castillo, the ceremonial heart of Chichen Itza, a UNESCO World Heritage Site. Since then, De Anda's team from Mexico's National Institute of Anthropology and History has been working to reopen the sealed passage, aware that it would be an exceptionally difficult challenge. The entrance had been blocked with stone and clay for centuries, not just by natural erosion, but seemingly by intentional concealment by the Maya themselves. This only strengthens the team's belief that beneath the pyramid lies a deeply sacred space, possibly once considered the heart of the Mayan spiritual world. According to Mayan cosmology, the universe is divided into 3 distinct realms: the upper world, the sky, home of the gods; the middle world, the earth, where humans live; and the lower world, the underworld, known as Xibalba, where spirits of the dead and supernatural beings dwell. Underground caves were considered portals to Xibalba, the very origin of life and the site of cyclical rituals such as rain ceremonies, sacrifices, and acts of repentance, all meant to uphold the sacred balance of the cosmos. Therefore, discovering a cave beneath El Castillo could mean standing before the most sacred gateway to the Mayan underworld. a site that may have once witnessed human sacrifices carried out in complete darkness, accompanied by ancient chants echoing off the stalactites. Guillermo de Anda explains, "If the Maya made such an effort to seal this entrance, it means the place was sacred and important enough for them to protect it from all human eyes. That alone is reason enough to explore, not just to understand the architecture, but to better comprehend their spiritual world." The excavation, which began in early February, is expected to take at least 3 months just to clear the passage, a task that demands patience, precision, and the utmost respect for the sacred space. One of the most intriguing elements the team is searching for is the Tree of Life, a central symbol in Mayan spirituality. This tree, often depicted as a massive green ceiba tree, connects the 3 cosmic realms. Its roots reach into Xibalba, its trunk stands in the earthly world, and its branches stretch toward the heavens. Many scholars believe that the cave beneath El Castillo might be a physical representation of the Tree of Life, a central cosmic point that links the universe as the Maya understood it. If this theory proves true, the discovery would represent one of the most significant archaeological validations of the profound intersection between Mayan architecture and religious belief. This is more than archaeology. It is a journey into a mystical world, where death is not the end, but an essential part of the universe's cosmic rhythm. A nearly 1,000-year-old ancient statue, unearthed beneath the Ankor complex. Beneath the quiet earth of the majestic Ankor temple complex, once the vibrant heart of the Khmer Empire, archaeologists have made a stunning discovery. A nearly 6.5 feet tall guardian statue, exquisitely carved from sandstone, found buried just 16 inches below the surface after centuries underground. This is not merely a work of art, but a potential key to unlocking deeper understanding of an ancient hospital dating back to the reign of King Jayavarman VII, one of Cambodia's most revered and visionary rulers. On July 29, 2018, during excavations at an ancient hospital site within the Ankor Archaeological Park, Cambodian archaeologists, in collaboration with experts from Singapore's ICS Yusof Ishak Institute, unexpectedly unearthed the statue, believed to represent a guardian deity that once protected the hospital grounds. Despite lying buried for over 800 years, the statue's torso and head remain remarkably intact, testimony to the Khmer artisan's masterful sculpting techniques. Though its arms and legs were broken, the intricate carvings that remain are stunningly detailed, appearing almost as if they had just been chiseled. Experts estimate that the statue dates from the late 12th to early 13th century during the reign of Jayavarman VII, known for his monumental construction projects infused with Buddhist compassion and humanitarian values. This period marked the zenith of Angkor's political, military, and cultural power, and notably, its emphasis on healthcare and social welfare. The king established a network of hospitals throughout the empire, each overseen by a guardian deity to protect the sanctity and spiritual purity of these healing spaces. What makes this discovery even more intriguing is the shallow depth at which the statue was found, just 16 inches below ground, suggesting it may have been hastily buried or collapsed during a past upheaval, later concealed by soil and the creeping roots of the tropical forest. The statue was discovered near a structure identified as an ancient hospital, an essential element of Jayavarman VII's welfare system. These hospitals were not just centers for physical healing, but also served as hubs where spirituality and Khmer traditional medicine intersected. Long Kosal, spokesperson for the Apsara Authority, which manages the Ankor complex, described the find as a crucial part of the ongoing efforts to decipher the layers of hidden history within the site. With dozens of archaeological structures yet to be excavated, Ankor remains like a colossal epic, with each artifact, such as this guardian statue, adding a vibrant piece to the grand narrative. In terms of scale and historical significance, the Ankor Archaeological Park is a crown jewel of Southeast Asian archaeology, spanning over 154 square miles and containing the remains of multiple capitals of the Khmer Empire from the 9th to the 15th centuries. At its peak, the city of Angkor may have housed over 1 million people, a staggering figure that, when compared to other global urban centers of the time, positions Angkor as one of the largest pre-industrial cities in human history. Today, the ruins of Angkor draw more than 2 million visitors annually, but most see only the tip of the iceberg. Beneath the surface lie countless undiscovered secrets, ruined temples, forgotten statues, and stories that have slumbered in the dark for centuries. That is why international archaeologists continue their tireless work, driven by the belief that Angkor still has much to reveal to future generations. So, what do you think about today's archaeological discoveries? Which one impressed you the most? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below, and don't forget to give this channel a like and subscribe so you won't miss out on more fascinating videos. For now, goodbye and see you next time.